Hello everyone, I'm so happy to be sharing today's illustration time-lapse with you all. This piece was made using a combination of mediums that I've actually never tried before, which is watercolor brush markers and alcohol brush markers. A big thank you to Ohuhu for sending me these awesome supplies to try out. The watercolor brush marker set came with a watercolor pad, which had a very fun and organic texture on the paper, as well as 36 colors of brush markers that can be diluted with water, and a water blending brush, which contains an empty stem that you can fill with water and then press down on to moisten the tip. The set of 72 dual tip alcohol brush markers came in this adorable carrying case, and I loved using these colors to layer on top of my watercolor painting in order to heighten the contrast and polish up the final details. And lastly, I just used my own black micron pen in size 005 for some of the finishing touches. If you're interested in trying out these amazing supplies for yourself, check out the video description for links and a 20% off discount code. Okay, let's move on to the painting time-lapse. I haven't posted an art without reference video in a while, so for this quick little study, I decided to try it out without any reference. I actually created the concept for this piece while I was feeling pretty sad one night, and I had had a very stressful day dealing with a lot of things, including my laptop crashing, and therefore I lost a lot of my video editing work, which I think anyone watching who makes videos, you can know just how aggravating it is to work on something for several hours, and then because of an issue or an error with technology, you lose all of that work and you have to redo it. It's just one of the most frustrating things as a video editor and creator that you could probably experience. And on top of that, my dog, for some reason, had peed on the carpet 3 times that day. I read it's because probably our neighbor got a new dog, and now my dog decided to mark her territory by peeing inside our house, which, is so logical. And also because I was already in such a bad mood from all the stuff I had to deal with that day, I got into a stupid fight with my fiance over something super trivial that snowballed into a way bigger argument, since I pretty much had no patience or composure left after the day of just dealing with the dog pee and my computer crashing all the time. So yeah, needless to say, I was not feeling super inspired or motivated when I sat down to start this drawing. I usually need a relaxed and positive mindset in order to create my best work. And that day, my headspace was probably the exact opposite of relaxed and positive. So after staring at the blank paper for a really long time, unsuccessfully attempting to just ignore my negative feelings, I decided finally to just embrace it and let my frustration guide my pencil. And this is how this concept was born. So once I decided that this painting would be a visual representation of my frustration and anger and stress, the ideas just kind of came flowing in effortlessly. The girl represents my current state of mind, which is an expression of pain and sorrow and agony. And there are several hands clasping around her head and applying pressure to her from all angles, almost suffocating her mentally. And to me, the hands kind of just represent all the obstacles and negative emotions that were clouding my head that day. And the subject is so overwhelmed and trapped that she can't help but cry. And her tears flow from her eyes and into the cloud beneath her, turning into rain. Since, I will admit, I cried a lot that day, and I am one of those people that cries very easily, especially when I'm angered and frustrated. I don't just cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm stressed out or feeling irritated. So a lot of tears were shed that day, and I thought, why not turn the subject's tears into like a rainstorm, because that's how much I felt like I cried that day. I felt like I cried enough to rain over an entire city, pretty much. And to me, her tears turning into rain also represents me trying to turn my negativity into something productive and creative. Like tears, rain usually represents sadness. For example, gloomy, rainy days are often a metaphor for a dark and gloomy mood. But to me, rain is also a sign of good things to come. A rainstorm waters all the plants and foliage. A rainstorm washes away all the dirt and grime of the city, and the air becomes so fresh and rejuvenating the next day. And the sound of rain can be comforting. And as someone who is a huge fan of rainy days, I tend to find rain to be cozy and relaxing. In fact, I think to help me sleep, I will often play the sounds of thunderstorms in the background as sort of a white noise. So I've always been kind of a fan of rainy days, and to me, rain has always represented something more positive than negative. So turning the tears into rain is a way for the subject to vent out all of her negativity and channel it into producing something more useful, more hopeful, and more comforting. And you know, strangely enough, after completing this painting, I immediately felt better. It was almost as if I drained out all of my pent-up frustration that was once inside of me and transferred it onto the paper. So once I was done transferring all of that negative stuff out, I felt oddly serene and empty in a good way and calm. And I feel like this is one of the best things about using art as therapy, and it's something I haven't done in a while. I mentioned in previous videos that art has very much turned into almost like a normal job or just kind of the daily grind of work for me, especially when I'm feeling stressed or in a bad place mentally. It's really hard for me to think of art as a form of relaxation because I feel like art had become a source of stress when there are deadlines and people waiting on the art. So actually making this painting, even though I knew I was going to be using the supplies to review and to create a piece of art for this review, the fact that I didn't use any reference, the fact that I set the right expectations going in, that I would be just letting my frustration, like embracing my frustration and negativity and just letting that fuel my creative process, it was very relaxing for me. It was a nice foreign feeling that I hadn't felt in a while. And I'm really glad that I got to experience it because for the first time in a long time, art helped me relieve my stress rather than giving me stress. For the color palette, I chose to use mainly shades of gray to obviously depict the gloomy atmosphere and mood of this painting, but I also decided to incorporate a bright and vibrant shade of magenta as the accent color in order to balance out that gloominess with a little bit of positivity and hopefulness, and also just to make the piece more visually captivating. Since I did not use any reference photos, this was also a great exercise for me to just observe some of the things that I still need to work on improving, such as practicing the anatomy of hands, especially when the hands are viewed from more atypical angles than what I'm used to drawing. And I also need to practice studying clouds from reference because clouds are actually quite tricky to render. They're soft and gaseous, but they're lit like solids, and they need to look just asymmetrical and random enough so that they appear natural and not man-made. So overall, I think the process of creating this artwork was both a therapeutic and productive experience, and I hope to conquer more bad days in the future this way. And that about wraps up today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. If anyone is interested in adopting this piece, I'll be listing her in my shop at happyd-artist.com. And if you're interested in learning more about how to paint and draw, I have lots of art educational content on my Patreon page, including exclusive video tutorials, step-by-step photo tutorials, live streams, podcasts, and even surprise art gift boxes. All available at patreon.com/happydartist. I'd love to have you join my Patreon family. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!